World War II's Axis powers built over 34,000 fighter planes, 425,000 rifles, and 577 submarines, weapons, so deadly they almost changed history forever. Stay till the end to see the deadliest of them all. Starting our countdown at number 10 is not a tank or an aircraft, but a rifle that changed history. The German Sturmgewehr 44. Built in 1943, this assault rifle was the first of its kind. It measured 3.08 feet in length and fired bullets at 1,532 miles per hour. Its maximum range reached 0.37 miles, giving it an edge in medium-range combat. At only $29 per unit, Germany produced 425,977 rifles, arming troops across the front lines. The CG-44 fired a new intermediate cartridge that balanced power and control. On the Eastern Front, German soldiers used it with deadly effect against Soviet forces. It gave the firepower of a machine gun but the accuracy of a rifle. After the war, its design inspired the AK-47 and even the American M16. The Sturmgewehr 44 was more than a weapon. It was the future of infantry combat. Coming in at number 9 is the weapon that made the skies scream with fear, the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber. First built in 1936, this aircraft measured 36.42 feet long and could fly at 242 miles per hour. It had a range of 372 miles, able to strike far into enemy territory. Each Stuka cost $53,900, and around 6,000 were produced during the war. Its most terrifying feature was the Jericho trumpet siren, which wailed during a dive attack, terrifying soldiers on the ground. In Poland and France, the Stuka crushed tanks and convoys with deadly accuracy. It played a key role in early blitzkrieg victories. But as Allied fighters became faster, the Stuka turned from predator to easy prey. Despite its weakness later, the Stuka's early dominance made it a symbol of German air power. At number 8 we turn to the seas, where Japan unleashed the silent killer known as the Type 93 Long Lance torpedo. Built in 1933, it measured 29.53 feet long and reached speeds of 60 miles per hour. Its maximum range of 25.1 miles made it the longest-range torpedo of World War II. Each one cost $2,000, with Japan producing around 1,700 units. It carried nearly 1,100 pounds of explosives, powerful enough to sink battleships with one strike. Fueled by oxygen, it left no bubble trail, making it nearly impossible to detect. In the Pacific, it gave Japanese warships a deadly edge over Allied fleets. At the Battle of Savo Island, these torpedoes sank multiple Allied cruisers in minutes. The Long Lance was proof that the most dangerous weapon could be the one you never saw coming. At number 7 comes the fighter that ruled the Pacific skies in the early years of the war, the Japanese Mitsubishi A6M0. First built in 1939, this carrier fighter measured 29.76 feet in length and reached a top speed of 351 miles per hour. It had an incredible range of 1,160 miles, which was far beyond most Allied planes. Each Zero cost about $8,000 to build, and Japan produced a total of 10,939 units. The Zero was known for its extreme agility and lightweight design, which made it deadly in dogfights. At Pearl Harbor, Zeros played a leading role in destroying American aircraft and ships. In battles across the Philippines and Southeast Asia, the Zero gave Japan control of the air, but its lack of armor and fuel tank protection turned into a fatal weakness as the war continued. By 1943, Allied fighters like the Hellcat and Corsair proved too tough for the Zero, ending its reign of terror. Taking the 6th spot is one of Germany's most famous tanks, the Panther. Introduced in 1943, this medium tank was built to counter the Soviet T-34. It measured 22.54 feet in length, had a top speed of 34 miles per hour, and could travel 160 miles on a full tank. Each Panther cost $48,600 to produce, and Germany built around 6,000 of them. Its main weapon was the high-velocity 75mm Clef 42 gun, which could destroy Allied tanks at long range. The Panther had thick, sloped armor on the front, making it difficult to penetrate in battle. On the Eastern Front, it proved deadly against Soviet armor, and it was also used heavily in Western Europe after D-Day. However, the Panther was mechanically complex and often broke down under battlefield stress. Despite these flaws, it was considered one of the best tanks of World War II and influenced tank design for decades. At number 5 is a weapon that earned a terrifying nickname, the German MG-42 machine gun. Built in 1942, this general-purpose machine gun was 4 feet long and fired bullets at 1,690 miles per hour. It had an effective range of 2.92 miles, making it one of the most feared infantry weapons of the war. Each unit cost only $104, and Germany produced 423,600 of them. What made the MG-42 stand out was its unmatched rate of fire, reaching up to 1,200 rounds per minute. Its rapid bursts earned it the name Hitler's buzzsaw among Allied troops. On the battlefield, German squads used the MG-42 as the centerpiece of their tactics, pinning down enemies with waves of bullets. It was so effective that its design influenced modern machine guns like the MG-3 and even the American M60. Allied soldiers dreaded facing the MG-42, and its sound alone was enough to cause panic. Crushing into 4th place is the tank that Allied crews dreaded most, the German Tiger I. Built in 1942, this heavy tank measured 20.73 feet long and weighed fear into every battlefield it rolled onto. It reached a top speed of 28 miles per hour, with a driving range of 121 miles, making it both slow and powerful at the same time. Each Tiger cost a staggering $104,000, which made it one of the most expensive weapons of the war. Only 1,347 were built, yet their reputation far outweighed their numbers. With armor up to 120 millimeters thick and an 88 millimeter K-36 gun, it could destroy Allied tanks long before they got close enough to fire. On the Eastern Front, Tigers ripped through Soviet armor, while in Western Europe, they delayed Allied advances after D-Day. Some battles were won or lost based on the presence of a single Tiger on the field. Allied soldiers often said the sound of a Tiger engine alone could cause panic. Despite being fuel-hungry, expensive, and prone to breakdowns, the Tiger I became a legend of armored warfare and remains one of the most feared tanks ever built. Flying into 3rd place is the Messerschmitt Bf 109, the backbone fighter of Germany's Luftwaffe. First built in 1937, this fighter stretched 29.36 feet in length and was designed for speed, agility, and deadly firepower. It could reach a top speed of 399 miles per hour and had a flight range of 711 miles. With a unit cost of $24,100, Germany produced an astonishing 34,248 of these aircraft, making it one of the most built fighters in history. The Bf 109 served in almost every theater of the war, from the skies of Britain to the vast Eastern Front and even in North Africa. Armed with cannons and machine guns, it could hold its own in dogfights against early Allied aircraft. In the Battle of Britain, it fought day after day against the Royal Air Force in brutal air clashes. On the Eastern Front, it battled Soviet aircraft over endless skies and played a critical role in supporting German ground forces. Pilots on both sides respected the Bf 109 for its versatility and killing power. Even as newer Allied fighters appeared, the Bf 109 remained a deadly opponent until the final months of World War II. Blasting into 2nd place is the German 88mm flak gun, a weapon that defined battlefield versatility and raw destructive power. Designed in 1936, its massive barrel stretched 16.21 feet long and fired shells at an incredible 1,834 miles per hour. With a maximum range of 9.2 miles, it could destroy both aircraft and armored vehicles with terrifying precision. Each unit cost $13,900, and Germany produced 20,754 of them during the war. Originally meant as an anti-aircraft gun, it quickly gained fame as one of the most effective anti-tank weapons of the conflict. In North Africa, Rommel's Afrika Korps used the 88mm to blast through British tanks before they could even get into range. On the Eastern Front, it tore apart Soviet armor, and in Western Europe, Allied bomber crews feared flying within its reach. The Flak 88 was used in nearly every theater, proving itself as one of the most flexible weapons of the war. Its combination of high velocity and devastating power gave it a reputation that still echoes in military history. The 88 was more than a gun. It was a symbol of German engineering and the backbone of Axis firepower. And finally, at number 1, we close our countdown beneath the waves with the deadliest Axis weapon of all, the German Type 7 U-boat. Built in 1936, this submarine measured 220.47 feet in length, making it both compact and powerful for long ocean patrols. On the surface, it could travel at speeds of 20 miles per hour, while submerged it cruised at 9 miles per hour. Its maximum range was staggering, capable of traveling 9,780 miles on the surface and 92 miles while underwater. Each submarine cost $1.73 million to build, and Germany produced 577 of them during the war. Armed with 14 torpedoes and a deck gun, it was designed to choke Allied supply lines across the Atlantic. In the Battle of the Atlantic, these U-boats sank millions of tons of shipping, threatening Britain's survival and nearly starving the island nation. Merchant crews lived in constant fear of sudden torpedo strikes that came without warning. The U-boats forced the Allies to create convoys, use sonar, and develop new weapons like depth charges and escort carriers. The Type 7 was the spearhead of Germany's naval strategy, feared in every ocean it patrolled. Even today, it remains remembered as the ultimate Axis weapon of World War II. It showed the world some of the most destructive machines ever created, and these 10 Axis weapons defined terror on land, sea, and air. They shaped battles, crushed armies, and forced the Allies to adapt quickly or risk defeat. Even decades later, their legacy reminds us how technology and strategy can change the course of history forever. Subscribe now, like, share, and comment to keep this history alive. Your support fuels more epic military stories, and we want to know, which weapon shocked you the most and why?